as he mentioned, maybe we can do a joint effort to go out to that area, because there's a lot of areas out this flea market that need to be addressed.
Yeah.
A lot. And we've brought the owners in before. They've came in, they've satisfied $20,000 plus judgments, and so they'll come in, they'll fix it up temporarily, and then they'll fall right back into the same habit of just letting the place go. So and I think if they was to just clean the place up and make it more manageable, particularly with traffic as well, then it'll cut down on some of the complaining in the area.
Okay. Well, thank you. Parking enforcement, code enforcement, appreciate your time. If y'all can just let us know. We want to broadcast it, but hey, we're about to go out there. We'll be out there this weekend, and keep us updated on what's happening. That'd be appreciated.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Revenue, anything y'all want to add to it? Y'all good? Revenue? Okay. Thank you. So we'll go to the roll call again and approval of the minutes.
Recognize that Councilmember Morrell is here to establish a quorum, and we can proceed to the approval of the minutes.
All right, make a motion to approve the last meeting minutes, second by Councilmember Morrell. All in favor? 3 yeas, no nays. Minutes are approved. And we'll go to the first item, item number 3, discussion and vote. Mr. Neely,
This is pursuant to our Council Rule 57, a consideration of amendment number 2 to the professional services agreement with Acadian Ambulance to extend the term for 1 year.
All right, we have someone from EMS to come in.
Good morning. I'm Bill Salmon, Chief of EMS. Thank you for allowing this to come before you. This is amendment number 2 for our existing contract with Acadian Ambulance to provide us with surge ambulances on a daily basis. As you know, Acadian provides ambulances within our 911 system each day, anywhere from 4 to 6 ambulances and anywhere up to 10 or 12 during special events and disasters. And so this contract is amendment number 2 that you are approving, and then we're also right-sizing the amount, the annual amount to $800,000 and the aggregate amount to $2.5 million.
Okay. Any comments or questions from the dais regarding this item? All right, I make a motion to adopt, second by Councilmember Morrell. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, and I believe that this would go to the
Thank you very much.
All right. We're going to go to item number 4, the status of the Treme. Well, let's do this. Let's go to item number 5, since we have a resident in the audience waiting. Still with DPW, we're going to go to item number 5, discuss the missing light posts on Sand Rock Avenue. So we're going to have DPW, and although these are District C specific situations, kind of citywide issue with street lights, questions about ongoing street construction. I know District Sand Rock kind of also bleeds into District D, so Councilman Green may also have some questions or concerns about item number 5. I'm sorry, item number 5. So we can go to the slide. You can see here, it's kind of hard for me to see. Chuck or Winston, just kind of explain what we got right there.
So it's a picture of it's a picture of the light post on the corner. It's currently missing, so if you look at it, it's before and after. The green square shows the actual, I guess that's an orange cone that's replaced it. We also have the member of the community kind of taking those pictures that can kind of give them a better idea of what's going on. If you want to bring them up, Councilman.
Let me get Mr. Michael to come to the mic, and he can explain what's that. Now, I know that's behind the Sand Rock Market, which has a lot of visitors, so we want to keep that light in that area as lit as possible. So go ahead, Mike, you want to just kind of walk us through the picture that you've taken and highlight it for us.
Sure. Well, I just wrote a little thing. It'll only take me a minute for me to read through that. So thanks for letting me speak today. On St. Rock Avenue, there are black lampposts that light the sidewalk along the blocks of 1100 St. Rock Avenue, spanning Lake down to 1800 St. Rock Avenue. There are 6 lampposts that have been knocked down.
And when the lampposts have been knocked down in the past, they're usually replaced, but over the last several years, these 6 have not been replaced yet. There are also oak trees along the neutral ground that block some of the overhead tall streetlights. There are some blocks that have no streetlights at all. So these lamps are the only thing that really light the pathway, which is used by both residents and visitors, tourists alike. And I do know that these lampposts have been in the neutral ground. I have a photograph from 1952.
That's it.
So I know they've been there for at least 70 years. It's great to keep those in the neighborhood if we could. So pretty much, I just have 3 requests. One is if it's possible to find the correct department that oversees those lampposts. It could be Parks and Parkways, it could be DPW, who would be the person that I could work with. Second, just a candid response on if they could get replaced or if not. And then third, is it possible to set up some sort of a regular maintenance that they could be checked out, bulbs replaced, dimming bulbs could be brightened without the public having to come forward? If it's something that whomever the responsible party is, could they fit that into their regular maintenance schedule?
All right, thank you, Mr. Hathaway. I think you come in.
Good morning. To answer the questions, I guess, the Department of Public Works is responsible for street lighting and the public right-of-way. In areas where it's kind of a larger park situation, that's either Nord or Parkway takes care of that, but in the medians, that belongs to DPW. The lights that are missing, or the light poles that are missing in question, are historic, and there are minimum orders that you have to place in order to get these poles. What we're trying to do is to tie this order on St. Roch with other historic areas in the city and place one large order and get those poles here. We do have a contractor that is responsible for maintenance of the streetlight system across the city. We do rely on the 311 calls in order for the public to notify us where lights are out or poles are missing. We use that in order to schedule the work. They do have about 4 to 6 crews working on any given day, depending on their own in-house availability. And we do have a management group that helps us manage the streetlights and does the nighttime inspections. We get a lot of information, obviously, from the nighttime inspections. It takes about 6 weeks to go over all the streets of New Orleans for one complete report for nighttime and to see which lights are working and which ones are not. So it is about money and about availability of the contractor's workforce in order to get a lot of this done. But these lights will be replaced. We will get this order straight on however the vendor can do it for us. There are other locations. St. Charles Avenue is one where they have similar cast iron poles that are the fluted poles, which are both historic in nature. So we're trying to tie all of that together and do one project where we get all of these installed. The regular maintenance, like I said, we depend on 311 for that information to come in. We can schedule it a little bit quicker that way, but we are working to make our inspections more efficient. We're going to try to move some of those tasks in-house. We've been given a couple of positions to create a small streetlight section within the department, and then we'll use those employees to do these regular inspections.
Thank you. Councilmember Harris has a question. Before I turn the mic over to Councilmember Harris, you said it will be replaced. Is there a time frame for these here?
We have to place the order. These are cast iron, and because they're in historic districts, you have to replace exactly the way it is. You can't do like a less expensive version of it, so it's going to take some time. I would say at least just based on other reinstallations, about 4 months or so once we place the order.
All right, Councilman Harris.
Yeah, you mentioned St. Charles Avenue, and that's why I pressed my button, is that there are historic poles along St. Charles Avenue that are broken, damaged, down, that need to be replaced. So as soon as we can get that order together, I think that would be great. So do you have a time frame on placing the order? I know it's 4 months from the time we place it, but when will the order be placed?
Yeah, the poles are actually a little bit different in size, so we're working with the vendor because there's a minimum, we're trying to tie the two together with them, and if they agree to treat both poles in the same order, then we'll be able to place it relatively soon. We do have some funds set aside, and so it shouldn't prevent us from placing the order.
Some of the poles on St. Charles Avenue aren't completely down, but have broken bases, have broken elements to them. Do we have a storage place to keep these broken elements that we can maybe not entirely replace but repair, that we can repair?
And you talking about, notice like on St. Charles,
St. Charles, like the
where
bases.
they're kind of cut off partially,
Yeah, where
maybe
the-
about 2 feet are exposed, something like that.
Or where the bases are cracked and it seemed to be pulled apart. Do we have a storage? Do we have a stock of these
Yeah.
parts, these cast iron parts that could be potentially used for repair rather than entire replacement?
Yeah, I'm not sure about whether they could be reused, but we'll work with the contractor because we do depend on them to do that, even if it's just a repair. But yes, the storage is at the DPW maintenance yard on Norman Francis. We keep the poles that we order, like Porter Street has special poles. Wherever they're special, we keep them there, and we'll keep the historic features there as well.
Okay, thank you.
Well, Mr. Hathaway, this was knocked down in 2020.
Yes.
So we are 5 years later.
Yes, I can't really speak
Before you hit,
for 24, but I realize that it's a huge undertaking. You know, I hate to be repetitive. There's 54,000 streetlights across the city. We are working towards a master plan for the entire city to identify where lighting is appropriate, where it's missing, what kind of fixtures work, is solar an option, all of those things. We've had a series of pilots over the last few months that have kind of helped us determine what's possible here. We also put on requests for information from the street lighting contractors nationwide. We've gotten some good feedback, so we're ready to move forward with the master plan and kind of unify how we approach across the city. That plan will not only just determine where a light pole needs to go, but also different power sources that can be used, maintenance and operations. It's going to look at it holistically.
okay. Well, my last thing on this is the residents. I hear what you're saying, and I understand what you're saying. You've only been here for a little over a year. Has it even been a year? Have you been here for a year?
Yeah, December 20th.
Okay, a little over a year, but their frustration is, look, it's 5 years. Can we just get some lighting done? So, Mr. Michael, any parting comments?
Yes, thank you for trying to put together a department to focus just on lighting. In the meantime, do you have a specific representative that we could follow up with on maybe a bulb that goes out, just one single person instead of a generic 311 request, maybe one person in your department that you could delegate, you can be responsible to field just like, this is what's going on.
First off, I would encourage you to always address the complaint through 311. That is the work order system for the department of all things, including streetlights. Contacting one person by email emails get lost, they get shoved down the list, and it is not a good way to handle things. 311 is the way to go. We also have
if you go on the DPW page on NOLA.gov, there's a list of emails for specific issues. One of the email addresses is for streetlights. So if the complaint should be registered through 311, and you can follow up through that email address.
That's perfect.
Thank you, Mr. Garver. Thank you, Mr. Hathaway. That will conclude item number 4. So let's go to item number,
Okay, Councilmember, there was one online comment.
Okay, thank you.
This is from Clifford Dugar. He says, just asking for updates on the lights of I-10 between Legion Fields and Louisa. Says it's very dark and dangerous, and it's been out for several months.
Councilmember Green?
Can you comment on that, since it does come up often, the schedule so that people know what's going on relative to lights? And I do want to get a final clarification, because I have gotten mixed information on that. Is the city responsible for all of the lights on the interstates? Interstate 610, I-10, and the Pontchartrain Expressway. There seems to be a hybrid of responsibility, or maybe there isn't, and there's just misinformation. So since it was brought up, this is a good time to talk about it.
Sure. Councilman Green, the city is responsible for the operations and maintenance of the streetlights on I-10, I-610, and the Pontchartrain Expressway to where I-10 splits off to go over to New Orleans East. On Highway 90, from the raised portion from, say, the back of the Superdome through the Crescent City connection is the responsibility of the DOTD. We do not maintain those lights. The issue at hand at I-10, where the 610 merges through Louisa, is a capital project. The lights are off because there's a capital project going on there. The DOTD will install new lighting segments for the department with the agreement that we take over operations and maintenance. That section is dark because they are in the process of reinstalling lights there. You can see some of the poles are being kept under I-10 right near Franklin. That's the light poles that will be installed at that location. They also have a sign replacement contract that's going on for the overhead signs on I-10 and I-610, and I'm not sure if those two projects are the same or they're just working simultaneously, but when they do the sign projects, they turn off the power to the lighting so that it's safer for the sign contractor.
Very complex. But there is also this project going on, since we're talking about lights, the project that's going on between Elysian Fields and Franklin, and a little bit past Franklin, those major lights that are to go up, where the poles are down.
Yeah, on 610,
Right.
I-10, the merge, yes.
That is a city project?
State. The state does the capital improvements. We do the operations and maintenance.
Right. I've discussed it before. I just wish there would be some consistency, and also, honestly, at the end of the day, there are so many lights that the city has on the ground, and also the state has jurisdiction under the interstates. For example, the lights that were placed on Claiborne Avenue. I can't see why the city has that agreement. We're responsible for the hundreds of lights above the interstate, but not under the interstates.
Yeah.
Food for discussion, but I brought it up before. I'm not in a position to do anything about it, but if there was going to be some, just for example, the state replaced the lights on the Crescent City connection because the state is responsible for lighting on state bridges, right?
And that particular one is part of that Highway 90 segment that they're responsible for.
Is the city responsible or the state responsible for the lighting on the Elysian Fields overpass, which is on a state thoroughfare?
That's the city, DPW.
You understand why I'm
Yeah,
challenges
it's
on it.
confusing,
There
yes.
just needs to be a little bit of discussion. It's not only confusing, it's just that the city has so many responsibilities. You know, very honestly, 54,000 lights, as you mentioned. I would think that there should be some consistency with the State Department of Transportation and Development having responsibility maybe for the interstates. they may not want to take it on, but just as the lights were replaced on the Crescent City connection, the state has the resources and the ability to do it. It's just worthy of a discussion.
Yes.
That's all. I mean, when you're under the interstate replacing lights, you might as well be able to replace them above, and also maybe give the city some relief on something that's a very challenging situation, you know?
I agree.
Yeah, and Councilman Green, all people know is the lights in my neighborhood out, and why to fix it, it becomes a city issue. And we're learning today that not every light that's out is a responsibility of the city. It's also in partnership with the state. I just want to kind of put that out there to folks, and not every light that's out, not passing the buck, but not every light that's malfunctioning in the city is a responsibility of the city. Some of them are the responsibility of the state of Louisiana.
That's correct.
Okay. And Councilman, I'll go a little bit further in my commentary to say that it is my desire to see the state take responsibility for the lights that are on the interstates. Since everything associated with it, whether it be cleaning the interstates, the areas under it, we've been doing a lot of cleaning, and I'm not trying to put anybody on the spot, but since the issue came up, we clean up under interstates all the time. The homeless encampments that were removed at the cost of the city. We do a lot of patrolling. Our EMS does a lot of work under interstates where there are issues involving those who are unhoused, for example. Just recently under I-610, the state did do a fine job, but it is the state's responsibility to do that job. We also have places where there are construction marshaling sites, for example, off Gentilly Boulevard, that are under the state. I would just like to see there be a better coordination, and also I'm just asking that we look at the possibility of the state taking on the responsibility of the lights up above the interstates, just as they're responsible under it.
Yes.
Food for thought. Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. That wraps up the discussion for item number 5. Now we're going to go to item number 4, our last item, the status update on the Treme Lafitte Group B project. And I just want to highlight on September 4th, the council passed an instrument that required a 21-day progress update. And we never got that 21-day progress update from about 5 months ago. So quickly, we just want to go, just a quick recap. This is St. Peter in the Treme neighborhood behind the Masonic Temple, right off of Claiborne. Go through the slideshow. Go back one, I'm sorry. Go back to 2021, a bit bumpy, but drivable. You see the new sidewalks and vegetation installed. Move forward. 2024, this is when we came in to discuss the situation last summer, early fall, late summer. And 2025 is the tree, well, the grass has been cut, but as you can see, there's no work being done. The street is still undrivable, filled with litter. So what is the update? 1, with the construction, 2, with the emergency contractor. When can we see some type of movement on the street, which we haven't seen in about 4 or 5 years?
The good news is I've signed a notice to proceed for the contractor, and they will start work on Monday the 31st.
Okay. Is there who is the, is this the same contractor from the last time?
No, this is Fleming Construction was the low bidder on the emergency contract.
Okay. I know there's, and some of my colleagues have issues with the low bid. When you get low bid, when you do low bid, you sometimes get what you pay for. And is there a way to not do low bid, or can you kind of educate the public the process with a low bid and why sometimes we have those?
It's required by state bid laws that you have to select the lowest responsible bidder.
Okay. So we shouldn't get any change orders that'll make this contract jump up to the highest bidder.
No, we should not.
That's sometimes the games a little bit is played. They come in low, but then they get you at the end.
The bids have been evaluated, and there are no items that are out of skew, so we should be fine.
And how much was this contract for?
I don't know the exact dollar. It was a little bit under $1 million.
Okay, so next week, next Monday,
Monday the 31st.
and is there a time it should be completed?
The time, I think it's 90 days, but I can get that to you.
Okay, so, I'll give you April 1st, April, May, June, so 4th of July, this street should be smooth.
Should be smooth. St. Peter and the one block in North Villeray.
All right. Any closing, parting comments, remarks from the dais? None? All right, I make a motion to adjourn. Second by Councilman Harris and Morale. All in favor? All right. 3 yeas, no nays. Thank you. Meeting is adjourned.